Nice. Hey everybody, I'm Ronan Warlord Magni, and thanks for coming to the next installment on my Newb to Warlord series. I hate you. Today, we're going to learn about level change. Yay. With my, I'm very sad to have Squire Sean. Yeah, I should have gotten rid of you. It's fine. Okay, so today we're going to talk about level change. I've talked about this a little bit in my body mechanics class, but I think in that class I went over it kind of briefly, and so I wanted to spend a little bit more time and develop a smaller class just talking about level change. So today we'll be talking, like, introducing the concept of it, the purpose, like why and what the point of level change is, how to do them. There's different ways to do level changes, and then different ways that we can use level changes in a fighting experience or like in a match. So first off, what's the purpose of a level change?
I don't know, man. I don't do them.
I thought you were running Warlord Magni.
No.
Okay. All right, so the main point of doing a level change, or I guess first off, what is a level change? A level change is any time that you're changing your static height in a fight, right? So like you're bending down, standing up. Most people aren't just standing in a fight. They're like, there's a little bit of a bend, so you can level change down. That's the most traditional concept of a level change, but full standing up is technically a level change as well. It's just less commonly used in a fighting environment. The point of doing a level change is that by doing a level change, I get to see a different cross section of my opponent, right? So this is my main field of view right here. I'm looking center of vision right there. By changing my level, how tall I am, I'm now here, right? Or if I stand up, I'm seeing like the periphery, or the main area of my vision is looking at a different part of my opponent. With that, I get access to different shot locations. If you imagine your arm as like a sphere, or you think about cone theory, right? This is the main area that I can hit, right? Boom. If I want to hit something lower, this length here is farther than this length here, right? I mean, my arm is the same length, but the access that I have is different. Yeah, you have an actual sword. Thanks, I just realized it. Yeah, triangles, right? Geometry. But so if I can, here, just give me this. Thanks. So I can hit Sean here, but I can not really hit his hip. Boom. Right? But watch. I can hit his hip now. Magic. Big change. Additionally, if Sean has a board, for example, go over here. It's not the producer's hat. Right. I have kind of a hard time hitting his hip. I can now, just by changing the height, it's changing the angle of attack around the board. So that's kind of the main points of level changes. I think at sort of a surface level, at a more high level of fighting, you can use level changes to sort of build and load up energy, right? Because if I throw here, that's something, but then I can come up and I'm using the energy from my legs to provide power into a shot. Additionally, you can then think about using level changes as well as like body feints, right? So if I do this, I'm sending information to my opponent by moving my body. This is a big thing to keep track of. So moving this gives a piece of information, but my sword's in the same way. Ha, boom, stab, whatever. Right? That is sort of a more advanced topic in level change. application. But those are sort of the main different ways that we do level changes and why we use them. Before anybody starts doing level changes, I would put out a safety note, right? Safety is important. Don't torture bodies. This is a game. Check out my fostering a positive fighting culture video that we just talked about. Don't destroy your body for a game. But, right, if you haven't done level changes before, or you're like trying to integrate them, don't just go for it. This is a really great way to hurt your body, especially like the way that I throw level changes very commonly is I'm like this, right? If you're not very flexible or you haven't built that range of motion into your body, it's a great way to like tear your hamstring or hurt your lower back. So if you are going to start doing something, practice it slow. You know, do the bend motion, do it slow, build up your range of speed, your range of power, or your degree of power, rather. You know, also you can do like squats or something like that, right? These are all different ways that I'm about to talk about and how to do level changes. But again, do it slow. If something hurts, maybe don't do that. It sounds very straightforward, but I'm just putting it out there for everybody. You know, if there's like a lot of tension, you feel a deep stretch, work into that, build yourself up to be able to actually do that activity or use that range of motion. Also, other sort of precautionary thing to think about in level changes is, yes, when I sit down here, I have more access to Sean's hip, but Sean also gains an advantage to my shoulder. Ow. Right, so you have to think about using the level change properly or adjusting for it. Okay, I'll talk about specific instances later in each individual category. So first off, we're going to talk about the different ways to do level changes. There's about 4 different ways. And so, okay. So there's about 4 different ways, and I'm gonna talk through each of them. All right. So there's the first style. This comes from traditional like fencing or Olympic fencing. It's where your feet are close. Come over here. Right. Yeah. Give me a sword. Your feet are close. You gotta come a little bit closer. Can't hit his hip. I'm gonna be here. Boom. So you're just throw. Right. My ankles and knees popped when I did that. I'm old. But all you're doing is you're here, and you're squatting down. Right. Spider-Man squat. Wow, super cool. It's like I'm talking to children. I personally don't like this style. It doesn't mean that, because the way that I do it doesn't mean that it doesn't work for, or if it doesn't work for me, it doesn't mean that it doesn't work for others, right? And the same thing for the things that work for me, it may not work for you. But I know like Sir Warlord Brett, this is the way that he does level changes. Is he does this Olympic fencing style squat, but that's also because he was an Olympic fencer. So, I mean, it just kind of like makes sense. It transitioned really well for him. The way that I will do stagnant level changes is, since I have more like of a wide stance, I do a squat. This is just a slight modification to the fencing style. My feet are just wider. The differences kind of between the two is, in my perspective, your balance point, right? With my feet coming close and bending down, boom. Granted, I'm not supposed to be down here for very long, but if Sean decides to come over and, well, you're supposed to like push me over.
Oh.
Yeah. Very easy.
I like this class.
But now if Sean tries to push me over, it's much harder, right? Wider base. So those sort of like caveats, and fighting is very dynamic. So if you're gonna be down here, you can't be here for very long. Whereas if I'm here, I can continue to fight, and then I can also explode from this position. Just two different ways to think about it. You can also do a level change. I already kind of covered this one by leaning forward simply. So I'm just in my standard stance. And I lean forward, boop. Right, this is kind of a sneaky one because I'm not moving my feet at all. I'm just throwing and moving my body. Now, the thing to keep in mind is there's a lot of weight and pressure being put in your lower back, so be careful for that. And on top of that, you're exposing your lower back or your top shoulders. I thought you were gonna hit me in the head. Yeah, don't do that. The fish hate it when you do that. Additionally, right, like being this far forward, all of my weight is loaded on this front foot. So if Sean decides to back away, okay, I need to, and if I want to continue to pursue, I now have to like either come up and pursue, or I have to drive forward. There's that limitation. And then the other thing is, if I'm here and Sean decides to come forward, I now have to push my body off. There's a very large time requirement with this, or time penalty with being exposed in this position. And then lastly, there's the lunge. So this is kind of a combination of the leaning forward and moving at the same time, where I'm just coming forward, right? But I'm in the way that I'm lunging forward, I'm still in sort of like a squat position, but I'm also leaning forward as well. And so these are sort of the different ways that you can access or utilize a level change. The other thing that you can do with them is, so the way that I've talked about level changes already is everything is very linear, right? I'm moving forward, I'm squatting, right? That's kind of it. You can do a little bit of side-to-side variation to access, you know, like if I want to get around Sean's guard, okay, I can't get it, right? This is a better angle for that. I can do that. The thing that you kind of have to be careful about is falling over, because if you fall over, you are probably going to die in a fight. So use precaution, be smart, I don't know, be responsible, whatever they say. Yeah, so you could apply those. You can apply side-to-side variation, I think, really to just the squat and then the lunge and then also the lean forward. It's really hard to have any sort of side-to-side variation in this fencing style, because all of like my feet are down at a point, and so I don't have a wide enough stance to accommodate my weight shifting or my center of mass shifting over, like, away from my feet. Okay, so that's kind of the majority of the class. Yeah, a very fast one. The last thing that I'm going to talk about is sort of using level changes in the different categories. So single, Florentine, and sword and board. At a high level, I like to use level changes for misdirection. I already kind of talked about this kind of at the higher level in the introduction, where I have this movement, this big movement, to give my opponent one piece of information. My body's going one way, my sword is going another way. Boom, right? This is I'm leaning forward and throwing. Very, very nice. I could also do this with movement as well. So I'm doing sort of a lunge throw. The thing that if you're going to do these sort of things, you have to have pretty good range control and understand how far I need to move to hit my opponent while still being in range. And then also if Sean decides to counter move, oh no, this is a bad place because now I get countered. Right, boom, But it is a nice piece of information or methodology to provide misdirection to your opponent to make them have to think harder about what you were actually trying to do. But now, level changes, like at sort of a high level for a couple of case scenarios for each of the different categories. So for single sword, we'll go single sword, Florentine, and the sword and board. So for single sword, a lot of people tend to like to fight up top, right? Either here. Oh, you're supposed to block that. You're so bad. Yeah. Give me the hat. No. Right. A lot of people like to fight up top. Boom, boom, boom. Up here. Not very many people throw for hip shots in single sword. I think this is sort of a disservice because you're cutting half of the available shot locations out. So like what I like to do is in a lot of my setups, I will throw high and then squat to throw a hip shot. Or if I'm going on the other side, if I want to do a hip scoop, I will go high and then low. Or I will scoop out. This is a much lesser level change because I'm just lunging and throwing. My other really favorite way to do level changes in single sword and Florentine, and I'll talk about this more in the next category, is stabbing. Stabbing with a level change, really good. You stabbing your opponent feels really good, right, Warlord Magni?
Yep.
Right. So you have in single sword all of this internal access, especially for right-handed versus right-handed. I have all of this here that I can stab. If again people are focused with everything being up top, stabbing down here, I can't stab the lower end, right, or Sean's stomach, but now I can. And so that's a really great way to hide your range in a sense, where I'm just like, boom, I didn't even move. I mean, granted, I moved this foot forward, but even if I do the fencing style, I can still stab Sean, right? I don't have to go all the way down to my, like sitting my ass on my calves, but yes.
It's a really weird feeling having your sword like jiggle up and down in my belly button.
Okay.
I don't know, man.
But yeah, right. You can from that you can hide. You can utilize level changes to access additional range within single sword. I think that's a really nice transition talking about Florentine. Why? Do it the way you're proper. I taught you. Okay, that's not any better. I'm gonna hit you very hard. Right. So level changes again when it comes to single sword or to Florentine is going to be very similar to single sword. I'm going to be using a lot of misdirection. I'm going to be throwing here and then trying to scoop under the guard. I'm often going to do this out of range where it's like throw, right, to get past a guard or switch over. In the scenario that I did here, I'm swinging for the hip, right? I can't even access the hip. If I do it with the lunge, I can access the hip. And if Sean, how far do you have to go to push the block, right? It's pretty far, and this is a very committed block. The safer option in that case would to be back out. What? It's called backing out. What? Shut up! Sean should back out instead of trying to go for the block.
What he said.
Oh, God. Okay. I try so much to teach him stuff, guys.
I'm learning.
Okay. Also going with stabs, I really enjoy doing this. You kind of feel like a superhero sometimes when you get it. Sean's not excited.
No.
So again, this is a misdirection shot where I throw here and I stab tall. Right. So again, we're gonna do it in slow motion now. Where again I'm throwing low and I'm stabbing high. Right. I'm also with that setup. I'm providing misdirection from the body and now the sword. This is committed, and then this is where the real threat's coming from. Again, you kind of using level changes, you have to mix and match, right? There's not just one solution. You can also integrate this into your movements around the field, right? Like your standard movement, and with a variety of different shots. I guess this is going to get into board, but it's not purely when I say hip scoops. I have to go like that, right? I can do it this side, the stab under. Oh shit! Sorry.
Thanks, Magni.
No, you're Magni.
Thanks, other Magni.
Right, I can throw from this angle too. Each way that I throw, it's giving me different variations and what I'm passively blocking, as well as being able to access and hit. So again, I think level changes overall, it's just kind of a sort of mix and match and find the ways that it works for you. But before we wrap up, doing sword and board, I think just as a side note, the way that I'm going to use level changes in sword and board is probably not going to be the most comfortable to everybody in watching this video, because the way I like to fight sword and board with level changes is in A range. So that's not very common for everybody. But go on this side. For sword and board, one of my primary opening shots is I'm going to just throw this. That's all I'm doing. I will see if I can land that. All I'm doing, right? My board's now here, and I'm just boom. That's it. One of the nice things about this is, yeah, I'm exposing my back, but my board's supposed to be here. If I need additional protection, I can do that. What is it? There's, I think it's the Anatoly belt line, school of thought, is they'll throw like this. And it's it looks super cool. I personally don't like doing it because I can't see shit. But if it works for you and you can land it, cool. Nice. On top of doing just this, one thing that I'll also begin to do, or a slight variation, is I will step and throw. Again, this is misdirection. I'm moving my body this way. I'm lunging down, so it looks like I'm going to go for the board side hip. Ah, boom. Scoop. Whack him. Dead. The other thing that you can do with it is I can hit, throw. So I'm now adding a shot here as misdirection, and then coming and doing the level change to get access, more easy access to the side. You can integrate dark sides with it, but I don't find it super useful. You have to really make sure that your opponent's throwing to your sword side or this side. It's kind of more risky. If I'm gonna throw a dark side with a level change, I'm gonna go this way. And actually, what I'm gonna try to do is I'm gonna try to stab. You hate this part, don't you?
Dude,
Right, and so what I'm doing is I'm stepping this way, level change, and I'm trying to stab the armpit or get under the inside of the shield for the floating grips. Really cool when you can do it. Okay, last thing with sword and board, and this is one of the primary ways that I do level changes, is in A range. I will step into A, come here, and then I can try to come down to get the hip. Or, right, like, we're just here, we can move around. What are we gonna do? We probably look like goobers when we do this. We should honestly videotape it sometime, because I don't know how ridiculous we look, but it's funny. But yeah, that's kind of the main ways that I use level changes in the 3 different categories. Hopefully you guys find this helpful. On top of that, you know, again, like, be cautious and don't push yourself too hard, especially the first couple of times that you do this. And then just try to find the ways that it works for you. But that's all I have for today. Thanks, Warlord Magni, for helping out. And then I'll see you guys next time on my Newb Warlord series. Thanks, guys.